difficulties.
YouTube has been giving us a little bit of trouble with lighting and stuff. So anyway, we're really happy to be here with you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just jumping on, welcome to our Sunday sermon. If you are brand new to us and don't know what that is, this is a non-denominational space to celebrate and worship all of the blessings of life and the messages that are coming through in each individual sermon. And if you're wanting more, there are more sermons here on our page that you can watch streaming back all the way through the years. And so you might find one that is also speaking to you as well. And today we're talking about the incredible gift of receiving and the circuitry of love. And so this is an important message for every single one of you. So if you're joining us live, hello. And if you are joining us on the replay, hello as well. Please take a second, if you can, to go ahead and hit the like button on this video, so it'll help other people know that we are here today and that help the video get around. And also, if you have not subscribed, please also take a second to subscribe to our channel. You can also find us on TikTok, Dove and Nicole. You can find us everywhere else at Twin Flame Revolution. That's Instagram, as well as Facebook. So make sure that you are connected with us. So hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello from England.
Yeah, tell us where you're from. I'm so excited. This topic is one of my favorites because I'm a lover of love. And I was thinking before this that, you know, when you're in this circuitry and flow state of giving and receiving and understanding that we are one and that both giving and receiving have a gift, and allowing someone to receive from you and to serve them and to ask others for help and allowing them to serve you.
Yes.
You guys know when you serve, the vibration is the highest vibration of love. And the gifts that come with that are endless, right? And I remember that I used to be in the circuitry of destruction. I had this big heart, but my mind was tormented, right? Because I had so much programming and so much trauma that I couldn't imagine a wretch like me that like God could love or anyone could love. And it was so hard to be able to give and receive love when I didn't feel as if I was worthy.
Yes.
And so with that being said, I would love to open this bad boy with a prayer and for us to just get really grounded in our beings. This is a space of non-judgment. This is a space of love. This is a space of remembrance. This is a space just to remind you of who you are, to take those minutes out of your day and to be grateful for this moment that we get to connect in this highest frequency of consciousness and to be together and to love on one another and to support one another in the comments and to be present. How many times are we not present? Our nervous systems this year have been rocked. And so it's been really difficult to slow the nervous system down and let the body do what the body does, and it balances itself. So I'm going to open this in prayer, and I am going to share how much gratitude I have for this very moment. Grateful for my wife and her love, for reminding me of who I am. And I'm grateful for all the little living creatures that are in this house and all the living creatures that are outside. And when we think about, I just want to bring us into this. I'm so grateful for the circuitry of love and how nature shows us that, right? Imagine if the earth didn't want to receive the rain. The rain is like giving itself to the earth to feed all the plants, right? Imagine if the earth was like, I'm not taking that. Nope, pride and ego, I got this one. And it's like, no, you're gonna die, right? Allowing in this moment to just imagine, right? The rain feeding the soil. And then the trees giving us oxygen and us receiving that breath of life, that good. And that in this moment, we're just gonna ask to protect the work that we're doing. And as I said that, I just saw everyone's hearts light up. Because when we talk about the circuitry of love, this is heart-centered, heart-focused work.
Yes.
We're doing work when we are consciously speaking about things, making things, bringing things to awareness. We're allowing our hearts to open for this moment. Allowing our hearts to open for this moment. Maybe your heart is a little broken right now. Maybe your heart has walls up. And so we're going to ask that if you are willing to your higher self, to your highest version of you, the most loving part of you, if you can be open to the messages that your higher self wants to give you in this moment, and if you want to go a little bit higher to Creator, and just whatever's going on right now, the answers that you need, the signs that you need, maybe some questions that you asked, may they be answered. And may we all in this moment, okay, whatever you're going through, if you're going through emotional stuff, if you're going through physical stuff, if you're going through relationship stuff, in this moment, I just want you to visualize if all of these areas that may not be in tune are in tune right now.
Yes.
Because they are. You stand in the way of that. Just imagine right now and just feel into your body, if your body was healthy and your mind was whole, and you remember how powerful you are, and you allowed yourself to experience love, and you allowed yourself to be loved, and you allowed yourself to ask for help sometimes, and you allowed those people that really want to serve you, because people actually want to serve you, to do so. And that it's okay to receive. There's nothing wrong with receiving. It's actually a beautiful gift to self and the other person. And I'm just really grateful, and thank you, Aho, for this moment. And if you're not standing up, stand up just for 1 second and put your feet on the ground. And if you're at work, don't worry about that. You can feel into your booty. And just thank yourself for taking these steps. Thank yourself for being here. Thank the earth for holding you. Thank yourself for just not giving up. Even if you feel like you've given up, you haven't. You're still breathing. This is a choice. This life was a choice. You may not think so, but it is. And just imagine the giving and receiving. It's this circuitry. It's forever. It's limitless. It doesn't stop. Everything that we put into this comes back to us. Everything that we share with one another is eternal. Every piece of love that we give to one another changes our matter. It changes us for the better. It allows us to reach higher. It allows us to fight for one another. It allows for us to stand up for one another. It allows for us to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves. I remember my pops, since I was a little kid, shared that with me. You have to stand up for those people that don't have it, that can't. They're less fortunate than you. And I would just be like, all right, Dad, all right. And it was one of those things that I made sure that my finances, my eyes, my heart, right, make sure that I give. And I make sure that I ask. And I make sure. So I just want to share with you, and I'm going to let Dev get in here, that when I met my wife, I was not worthy. I didn't feel worthy to receive anything. And I met this beautiful woman who has so much love for me and will tell you even today that she saw me perfect, even when I was very imperfect and I was using drugs and I was a heroin addict. See, that's how true that was, right? And I remember I needed to get help and I didn't want to ask for help and I didn't even want to get help because I didn't think I deserved the help. And I remember my wife literally behind the scenes like a mad scientist was calling all these places and finding the perfect match for me, the perfect rehab. And she was just waiting for me to ask for that help. And when I asked for that help, she just was like, I found the place, you have a scholarship, blah, blah, and it was just like, blah, 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 blah. And it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming to receive that kind of care. And so, but I took it. It changed my life. But then I got on my feet and I thought, once you get on your feet, you need to take care of yourself. You don't need to ask other people. You're independent. You are an adult. And I lived like that and I was miserable. I didn't have really solid friendships. I didn't even understand what a friendship meant. I didn't understand that people would be at your door when you're like on the floor crying or that you made a really bad mistake in your life, that people were willing to knock on the door, come in and be with you. I didn't think my wife would continue to love me that way, but she did, and it changed me. But now, I will stop talking. I will stop talking.
Oh, beautiful being. So happy to be with you today. So, we're talking about giving and receiving as a circuitry, but I want to focus more on the concept of receiving because I think that we are taught, as Nicole said, you give. That's what we're taught. You give. The problem is the circuitry breaks down because we're not taught you receive, right? We feel very inundated, most of us, with programming around the concept of receivership, that it is not okay, that you are not worthy, that it is selfish, that it is, you have your own individual stories. And maybe in this moment, you want to take a little bit of a look inside, a little bit of an inventory, and just ask yourself where you might have your own stories at this point in your life around these concepts of receiving, right? But what happens is if this is an actual circuitry, if it is an equation in and of itself, then we break down the equation. And a lot of, deeply conscious, deeply loving, empathic souls, you're givers. You're inherently natural givers. And so what I like to do sometimes is shock your senses a little bit and say to you, because most of these givers really see themselves as the opposite of selfish. And I would say to you that if you don't learn to receive, it's selfish. Right? And people say, well, what do you mean it's selfish? How could I be selfish? All I do is do for everybody all the time. And I'm going to explain to you why it's selfish. It's selfish for two inherent reasons. So the first is that it actually, and I use selfish in a good way and in a sort of not so productive way, right? So for me, we need a sense of selfishness in the sense that we can feel and care for ourselves. And when we feel and care for ourselves, we become very, very able and useful to care and assist those around us. And so we become actually more valuable to our environment in a really real way. And then there's this type of selfish where we don't realize that we are neglecting and harming ourselves to the extent that we actually become very unable to positively impact our world, our families, our home. Okay, so the first type of selfish that it is not to receive is that you can become very, very depleted, and you can give and give and give, and you can lose sight of yourself.
Come on.
Okay, and that's not fair. Because when you lose sight of yourself and that giant, incredible light that you are and all of the things that you deliver to both your own soul and to the universe and to the existence of the world around you, it doesn't get to activate. It doesn't get to shine. And it certainly, even if it does, it is not maximized, right? Your potential as a soul on this planet right now, which is so incredibly valuable, a more important time than we've ever been in, really. A critical moment in history for our planet, you're very valuable, right? What each and every one of you do is deeply impacting the world. And so if you're exhausted and uncared for and unwell, and your perspective is deeply, deeply affected and dimmed by your lack of resourcing, then you're not able to shine. And so that's the first type of selfish that it is not to receive. And the second one is you actually take away the opportunity for another person to give. So how many of you guys like to give, right? And you can raise your hand. I'm sure so many of you guys do. I'm sure some of you guys are like, I love it. Do you love to do something nice for somebody else? You love to support people, animals, the environment, help each other. You like to do your friend a favor. You like to make a meal for somebody. I do. I love that. Well, guess what? They love it too. They love to be able to be present and show up in your life. And when you say, I'm not worthy of that, I shouldn't do that, I'm going to stop that, you don't allow that person the miracle, the blessing of giving. Because when you won't receive, you don't allow another person to give. And the greater impact of all of that, right, is that the dynamic, the circuitry breaks down.
Yes.
We have an imbalance. This is the same thing that can be applied, and we're not going to talk about that here in this sermon, but Nicole and I do a lot of wealth work with people and help people to really break out of lack. And we both had a lot of lack in our lives, and I had a lot of poverty growing up, really deep poverty. And it's been a big part of our mission, our work, to help you to find all of your expansion again by not being limited by concepts of resources. And it also applies to resources, right? That's why we talk about you must give, you must invest, you must invest in yourself, right? In your wellness, in your health, in your healing, in your love, in your life, in your food, when you do that, you are able to receive. See, we can't just have one-sided circuitry, and we get into all of these blocks with our money and our wellness and our relationships, our romances and our family, and we get very deeply stuck. And what is in many of these cases a core, not all, but a core aspect of breakdown is that there isn't give-receive circuitry. There is only receive or only give. There is a fear, there is a trauma, there is a program, there is a breakdown in many of us. And some of these programs, you might be saying, well, I don't have any of these, Dove. There is a lot of programs that we have adopted that are so innate. They're so deeply part of us that we don't even question where they come from, ideas, stories, right? Whether it is about money, whether it is about relationships, whether it is about support, whether it is about loneliness. I can hear some of you guys saying, I don't have anybody that can support me. I can hear some of you saying, but I'm stuck in this situation, right? And the thing is that our circuitry has also prevented us, our innate programming that is not there for that universal circuitry of give and receive, that has come against the grain of it, that has also manifested now circumstances, situations, and relationships that are not feeding that are not feeding this universal principle, right? So think about it like this. Think about if the universe is working on a particular frequency and it's going give, receive, that's the frequency, that's the balance of all things. And then you're over here going, I'm going to do something else and I'm not playing in this, right? Then we're off center and we're off flow from what is going on in the universe. And then we start experiencing in our life things that are off center and off flow. We start experiencing relationships that are out of balance, circumstances that are out of balance, health issues that are out of balance. We're not in the actual circuitry of the universe. This is why understanding that we do not exist as a total separate energy from everything around us. And yet we still have enough sovereignty and autonomy to be able to affect our own individual experience. And as we affect our own individual experience, what do we do, guys? We affect the collective experience, okay? So this right here, it has such a strong and profound fundamental base that it's not just, it's good to give and it's good to receive. It is the fundamental bedrock in which so many things are affected and shifting. And so if any of these areas are interesting to you, and they're interesting to all humans. All humans care about interpersonal relationships, romantic relationships, love, family, friendship, our finances, because it's the things that help us to expand into opportunities and experiences we want. They matter. They matter to this 3D experience that we're having. And this circuitry also affects your energy, not just your three-dimensional experiences. The wellness of your being, of your systems, right? The peace of your mind. When you're overgiving and overgiving and overgiving and not receiving, what happens? You become resentful, tired, right? You become, you start looking at life in a way that feels very disheartened and narrow, right? And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are not in a balanced place inside of your being.
I love that. You know, it's so interesting. I was sitting here thinking about different parts of my existence that I struggled with where it didn't allow certain people to give to me. For instance, being an addict. If you weren't an addict, I would be like, you don't understand. People wanted to serve me and I was like, you're not an addict, you don't understand. Or when Dove and I couldn't get married after I proposed because of law, you know, I didn't really want to hear from a hetero couple. But what started to happen was I noticed that what if I received from people that didn't understand but wanted to know and wanted to be a part of that part of my growth. And I remember sitting there with a hetero couple when they passed the law that Dove and I could get married. And I remember we were in New York City and this couple just embraced us. And something just happened where it was like, people don't really need to be in your shoes. They just need to care. And we deserve to let different people that are having different experiences into our world to feel and experience the hardship or the things that we go through. And not because ego wants to come up and be like, because I remember like thinking like, what do you have to offer me? Like, you don't know like what I deal with in the bathroom doing drugs. You don't understand. And when my parents wanted to sit with me and honor me, when my friends that weren't addicts wanted to sit with me and hold my hands and be there when I'm detoxing, or whatever that is, and the lighting just went crazy because I was, did you see that? It was like lit up. What started to happen was I was unifying in a different way, and that what we are capable of giving to one another. How precious is it to let someone into the space that they know nothing about, but that they want to know and they can learn from. And that maybe if somebody else is going through it, they can show up for them. And that we have so many differences and oppressive things that we've all gone through, different race, all this stuff. What if we opened borders and allowed other people in these areas and you receive that? There's no separation, right? We get to open up and tell people how hurt we are and let them listen. That's how we learn from one another. That's how we go, oh, fuck, that sucks. Hey, I'm so sorry you went through that. I don't know what that feels like.
Yes.
But I'm here with you now. And I'd like to be here with you through your process. And I feel like that's a big thing, is receiving each other in all of our differences. And it has changed. It has changed me forever and will continue to change me. And it's a beautiful thing that I show up with people. I have no idea what certain people go through. But I sit and I want to learn and I want to know and I want to hold them and I want to be there for their grief and I want to witness them and I want them to feel love from another angle, another space, because then there's no space in between us, which there isn't space in between us. And so I remember too, I just want to say one more thing, is Dove and I this year had, and I've said this multiple times, we've had external things happening with people and my animals, surgeries, like all kinds of things going on. And we needed help. Like us, we couldn't do it alone. And my mentor, was just kind of like, we were like, well, people are busy. She's like, yeah, they are. Make them go the extra mile for you. Give them the gift of doing more and like stepping up for you, because the gift is for them, not even you. And I had people show up for me this year, like come into my house and do my laundry and do my dishes and like be with us. And like Dove's mom showed up and like people showed up. And I asked for even just emotional support. And every day people would text me because I was like, I need you just to stick with me. I need you right now. And then they needed me and they were texting me. And it was just like you could feel, and somebody said before, this creates community.
Yes.
You could feel community again, because I'm going to be, the one thing that's going to get us through the time that we are in right now is building community.
Yes.
With all of our difference and all our different political shit, building community with all of it, all intertwined, about the human experience, caring for the human and all the little animals, caring for one another and helping one another right now.
100%. And I see a lot of your comments are coming in really fast, and I don't have my glasses on, but I see a lot of you guys are going through some major stuff. And Nicole's talking about community. Community is really important. And I want to remind you guys, and I'm going to do it all of the time now because it really matters, right? That, if you're feeling like you need more with Nicole and I, and if you're not sure you're ready to work with us one-to-one and all of that, a lot of you guys don't know that we do have a membership program. And that membership program has years of really, really valuable content in it. Like the stuff that we'll do with one-on-one clients valuable. And that every month we do a group coaching and healing live with people that are in this membership. So I really want you guys to know about that. I'm gonna put the link in the description, but if you're like dying to go right now, just go to twinflamerevolution.com and go into the store and you'll see it's called the Revolution Community. And read about it, because it is really important right now that we're sticking together, and this is a super valuable space. It's good if you do work with us, it's good if you have worked with us, it's good if you've never worked with us, but I can say if you get any value from any of our videos or our sermons or any of the stuff that you've seen on our social media, then this is going to 10x that for something, a cost that should feel manageable to most of you. And if it's a stretch for some of you, I want you to consider, we just talked about, right, what happens when we give. And I want to share this really interesting anecdote, because it interestingly came through when I was getting ready for today. And I was like, why would we talk about this in today? And it came up. So for some of you, you need to hear it. And, I've had people a lot say, well, I can't afford to work with you. I can't do this or whatever. And they found a way to do it. And every time, like clockwork, we get a message, the money came back tenfold, or the money came back within days.
Yes.
The money came back within hours. How is this possible, right? And it really is the active part of this circuitry. And I guess that's why Spirit had me bring it up, because it's an actual tangible way that we see that when we are able to, because guess what? When we invest, it's not what you think it is. So we think investing is what? We think it's giving. Investing is receiving.
Yes.
Why? Because you're saying, I will put this down in order to claim my willingness to receive, right? And so it's a beautiful and interesting shift in the perspective when we realize that, because it's actually your commitment to yourself and to a process, especially when we're investing in our coaching, we're investing in our support, to actually get something back and brings us into receiving circuitry. And for all of you guys that are on the twin flame journey and sacred union journey, let me promise you that if you do not learn to receive, your circuitry, your dynamic, and your polarity with your twin will continuously hit walls of issues.
Yes.
So it is so vital. And so many of you saying, I'm having this problem with my partner and my twin, this problem and that problem. You are the answer. I'm going to say that again. You're the answer. You're the answer to your happiness, to your balance, to your harmony, to your relationships. You're the answer. Even if a lot of stuff is going on with them, when Nicole was doing really poorly and she was, using and she was breaking down and all of these things were happening, it was so easy for me to keep my focus on her. And I did not realize that what I needed to do was get myself together.
Yes.
Because then so much more than you think comes to clarity. So those of you guys that are saying, like, I don't know, is this my twin? Is it not my twin? Are we supposed to be together? Are we not supposed to be together? Like, what did we choose in this lifetime? What's actually going on? All those answers are here. But most of you can't access them. You can't access them because you have traumas and you have stories and you have bonding wounds and you have attachment mechanisms that are not helping you and you have energetics that need to be reset. Guess what? Every single person on this journey needs to be doing the work. They need to be doing their part. They do. Because in that, when people come to us and they say, I want you to guarantee me my twin, I want you to guarantee me this, I don't do any of that. What we focus on is you being in the most optimal, highest timeline, happiest version of yourself, getting the clearest connection with yourself so that no matter what that other person chooses to do, you are in power, you are happy, you are living your fullest life. And that is why and how I see so many of our clients coming into union, staying in union, getting married, being connected, and we're seeing it all the time. We see it all the time. Nicole just said to me the other day, we don't talk about that a lot. We don't talk about that people work with us or do our 7 keys or in our membership community, which by the way is not limited only to twin flame subjects at all, but has a lot of value for twin flame subject. How are they, we don't talk about how they do these things and they repair and their connections and they stay in their connections, they grow in their connections. So I really, because I see a lot of you guys going through it right now, and Nicole brought up community, I want to say we need to build more community, and it can't only be on our social media platforms, and we need to make leaps and stretches, and we need to say I'm willing to invest in myself, and we need to play in these spaces and these arenas. And so it doesn't have to be with us, right? But we do, if you resonate with us, have a lot of really good tools, and all of you should consider the membership as one of them. And again, I'll link stuff below here, but it's a beautiful thing to think about. And some of you guys are probably feeling a lot of breakthrough around this. Some of you guys are feeling resistance around it. Be with it. Be with whatever is coming up for you in this space. And so I'm going to bring a little bit of a blessing as we're kind of finding our way to close. Yeah, guess what? If you're unhappy with yourself, it is okay. Why is it okay? Why is it okay? It's okay because nothing is guaranteed except for change.
Come on.
Nothing is guaranteed except for that nothing will stay the same. That is the only thing that is guaranteed in this life. So it does not have to stay that way. And it will not stay that way if you claim it. That is the only thing that can ever be promised, is that this moment will not stay the way it is, right? And that's why when we have a great moment, and you're feeling high on life and beautiful things. Some of you guys are really rocking out right now. Life is going great. Everything in your life is great. If you are in that place, really celebrate it. And others need to celebrate those that are doing really well.
Yes.
I can promise you, if you are at the bottom of the barrel right now and feeling like crap, you better turn around and celebrate somebody who's not. Because when you do that,
Yes.
you start to raise your vibration and bring that gratitude in. You start to shift that focus. It is so powerful. It is so powerful. And if you look, we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to do that as a culture. Why do I know that? Just go to any social media and open something up and read the comments. Oh my goodness. Just read the comments. We find every excuse and every reason to tear people to shreds because we are inherently deeply unhappy and we are inherently deeply ungrateful and we're in pain.
Yes.
We don't like ourselves. That's why we can do that. Nobody who likes themselves and is rocking out in their life and feeling really good about stuff and feeling super grateful goes on TikTok or Instagram and goes, I'm just going to tear this person that I don't know apart. Like, nobody does that. So if you found yourself doing that or you see other people doing that, that's what that is. It's pain. It's pain. It's a lack of love for yourself. It is a feeling of discontent in your life, and that can change. It can change. But you have to break the glass ceiling of it and say, I'm going to do something different. Because if you don't do something different, nothing is going to change.
Come on.
You have to take a step. You've got to go, okay, cool, I'm going to work with Dove and Nicole, or I'm going to go outside and take that walk, or I'm going to do whatever it is. I'm going to join the membership community. I'm going to do something. I'm just going to do something different. And when we do something different, of course, something is going to happen. And when we're trying to shift things within ourselves, we have a lot of blind spots. You know, I would not have left my whole entire career that I had or shifted our whole life if I didn't believe so much in having others support us. So even if you were a master, at this point, almost everyone, actually all of our private one-to-one clients are all leaders. They're all big leaders in and of themselves. And we work with them because they know the value that no matter how masterful you get, you need even more support and you have more blind spots. And I'm saying that for some of you guys that are leaders out there going, I am shameful to admit I need help, I need support, I want someone else to work with. It doesn't work that way. You never get to a mastery level where you just don't need anyone else's support. Yeah. And I love that all this is coming up because it's so profoundly part of this concept of receiving. And there's so much shame around receiving as a leader and so much shame around receiving if you've got answers and you've got tools. I see people all the time posting, I know how to do this. You know, I help other people all the time, so I'll just heal myself. Yeah, we can do a lot ourselves and we need to learn to do a lot ourselves.
Yes.
But there is no replacing the fact that we are meant to work in circuitry together. There just isn't. And I believe in that so, so deeply. I would never be doing this work that I'm doing. So I want to share that with you guys. And I want to give you guys a little bit of an assignment. And I want you to think about where you don't allow receiving, right? Where you don't receive. And I want to give you two examples. So if you're thinking like, I don't know if I receive or not, I'm going to give you the simplest quiz, right? Do you accept compliments? Like, do you like really receive them into your body? Or do you go like, oh, stop, like, don't know, right? Do you stop, look somebody in the eyes and say, thank you, right? So do you receive compliments? Do you receive money? What happens if somebody gives you money, either for a service that you're providing, as a gift, as an exchange? What happens when that happens? Those are two incredibly strong areas. If you are no in either of those or struggle in either of those, you know that you can work on receiving, okay? That doesn't mean that if you are a yes, like I can do both of those really well, it doesn't mean you don't have areas to improve, right? But that's a really strong telltale on those two areas that you know. So I want you to take a little bit of a look at where do I struggle to receive, what's going on with me, maybe some of your belief systems around it. And then I'm going to invite all of you to take an action step.
Yes.
Really, truly. So what are you going to do to receive a little bit more? You're going to call up a friend and say, hey, I need some help with this. Hey, I'm moving in 2 weeks, right? And it's okay if they say no, okay. I took a step. I'm going to try another friend. And if they say no, right, it's not about a personal process. It's about opening yourself up. Maybe some of you guys, it's time to take an action step. I gave you an action step to take. Come join the community or reach out to us about working, whatever it is. Take a step. Make an investment into your life. Maybe you've been needing a massage or acupuncture or something's going on for you. Book it today. Go do something. Go do something today to activate that receivership. So take some inventory and take an action step. Okay, that is a piece. So as we're closing up in that, I'm just going to ask for blessings right now of receivership, opening up your pathways and channels to receive more fully and completely, and releasing from your body those places that feel tense, afraid, and resistant. And so for those of you that want to receive, just imagining your channels opening up as if there are crystal pathways through your whole entire being. And all of this crystal light coming in from the heavens above, going down into your feet below, and cleaning out in your body any programming or energy. And it's not going to be all of it, right? We're just bringing in a little bit. But cleaning out these programmings and resistance. Stories. A lot of you guys have stories. Your stories started when I started talking, you're like, but Dove, like your stories started, right? Those are your stories. We're just going to ask for the stories to calm right now and those that are ready to be revealed to you. Therefore, you can write them down, journal about them, pay attention to them, right? Those that are ready to be revealed to you and those that are ready to be transmuted, we ask for that to start to open up. And we ask for that next step and that pathway between you and that next piece of receivership to open up. With favor and blessing to everyone here and everyone watching in all space and time. Beautiful.
And I just keep seeing somebody posted interdependent rather than codependent. And I love that, right? With being able to take care of yourself while receiving from others, right? Being totally responsible for yourself while allowing the cherry on top or sprinkles, whatever you like, to
Yes.
add to what it is that you're already giving yourself, right? Being in that space is such a beautiful thing. And thank you so, so much for showing up today. And being in this space. And I love that Dove ended with the action step because, knowledge without works is dead.
Yes.
And even if you have to call someone that is going to show up for you today, if it feels too vulnerable to call somebody else, just call someone and be like, hey, I just need to know that you love me. Or I'm feeling really emotional today. I need to have a chat with you. Or can you just tell me everything's going to be okay? Like sometimes it's that simple. Allow yourself to just do that and receive the love that's given. Because, we think that as humans that we're nasty. We do. And you would be amazed once you got past the trauma and the pain of life, what a person really wants to do deep, deep down. And that's to give. And you're worthy to receive.
Absolutely. Stick with it. Stick with yourself. We love you. Thank you for receiving us today. Thank you for being with us and connected with us. As I said, please make sure to like this video if you haven't had a chance. Please make sure to subscribe if you're not, and make sure to find us everywhere else that we are, Instagram and Facebook as well, Twin Flame Revolution, and TikTok, Dove and Nicole.
Love you.
Please come on there. We try to bring as much content as we possibly can for you guys all the time. And please, for those of you guys that are ready to take a step with us, come join the community, the membership, I should say, so that you're able to access just an unbelievable amount of information, new teachings, and being able to really work on all areas of your life: love, wealth, abundance, and health and goodness, and be connected to
And
each
be
other.
face to face on Zoom.
Yes, absolutely. We love you guys all so very much. Thank you for being here. Blessings to all of you guys, and thank you for being on our Sunday sermon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.